All right, hello everyone, it's silverkyle, and I've been MIA for about 2 weeks now, but I'm back, and I have quite a bit of things that I want to talk about. One of them specifically is the Nintendo Mini Partner Direct that we had yesterday, which was October 28th, 2020. That was probably the best Mini Partner Direct that we've ever had. Automatically, when I hear Mini and Partner Direct, I just I lose all hope for what that Direct is going to be. But this one, I was actually quite excited. I would probably say that the best directs that we've had this year would be the Super Mario 35th Anniversary Direct and this one afterwards. I'm thinking, I don't think that there's anything else that would take the second place other than this one. But I was very happy with this, and it's exactly what I wanted. There was one game that I was just so excited about. So let's get into this. I just kind of took notes on the things that I really want to talk about. There was a few games in the middle-ish where they kind of just showed a few upcoming games, and they were more indie style, so I didn't, and they didn't really interest me too much, so I didn't really take notes of them. But let's start this off with what they started this off with, which is Bravely Default 2, the actual sequel to Bravely Default, which I absolutely loved on the 3DS. That was, I actually have, I don't even know where it is, but I have the collector's edition. It's too far in the back there. I have the collector's edition of the Bravely Default game. I loved that game. I did find that it was a little bit too repetitive near the end, with things, with how the story kind of went along, but the story was really good. Just having to replay kind of the game over again wasn't the funnest way, I think, of continuing that game. But anyway, Bravely Default 2 looks awesome. They show a few things with the asterisks, so the jobs that they have for some of these characters. The only thing that I would probably say, I do like that they're really sticking with the visuals that they had with the 3DS, just a little bit upgraded and in HD. I love when you go into a town and it's like a 2D world, and it's just this big, really extravagant town that kind of has different levels. I really like that style, but the mouth movements really bother me. They don't sync up at all to what the characters are saying, but they seem kind of weird at the same time. Like, obviously, I mean, they're it's probably in Japanese to begin with, so the time is going to be off. No, they do a pretty good job sometimes, though. And by 2020, you'd think that they'd be able to nail that even easier. So I almost feel that with the mouth movements, they were kind of off to begin with, and even if they were syncing up correctly, they just seemed off for some reason. I feel that a game like this, you could get away with having the voice acting, the characters talking, and not actually move the mouth at all. I think that would actually benefit this kind of game for what they went for. But other than that, I'm very excited for this. This is coming out on February 26, 2021, so we're going to have a nice quarter one of 2021, hopefully, because there's actually quite a few games that are coming out unrelated to Nintendo, although there's another big game coming out in quarter one of Nintendo, for Nintendo, that I'm very much looking forward to. So I'm thinking that we're going to have a nice quarter one. I'm really looking forward to it. Next up is the big surprise, which is Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town. So the people that made Harvest Moon, Marvelous, eventually, like a few years ago, they split from Natsume, and they started creating their own Harvest Moon games. Just, they didn't have the title of Harvest Moon, so it's under Story of Seasons. Recently, earlier this year in the summer, we ended up getting, North America ended up getting the remake of Harvest Moon Friends from Mineral Town, which was from the Game Boy Advance, which is actually really back to nature. That game right there on the PlayStation 1. But anyway, they ended up remaking that game. It's pretty damn good, and now they're finally making their own from the ground up Story of Seasons game without being a remake for the Switch. Very happy about that. That is coming out on March 23rd, 2021, so another quarter one game that we're getting that I'm very excited for. I like that we're getting it on the Switch. It looks pretty good for the most part. I like that you are able to kind of create how you want the layout for your farm. I do like that a lot. It also seems like you were doing a lot more stuff in the woods, like going out into the forest and kind of exploring a little bit more than you do in most Harvest Moon / Story of Seasons games. Potentially, by the looks of things, I have no idea actually, but it looked like that. But I will say that the art style that they're going for is kind of that very not too exciting polished look that you get with the Pokemon games lately. That just looks like it's HD for the sake of being HD, and they're very cartoony and not in a very aesthetic pleasing kind of way. It's just very plain to me. I don't really like that. I think that for these kinds of games, I think going a cell shade would work wonders for them, and really have those colors pop for a game like a farming simulator. I think that you either go Stardew Valley where you're 2D sprites, which I think is a great idea, or if you're going to go for a more with 3D environments and all that kind of stuff, then you go the route of cell shaded. And I think that would have benefited this a lot, and have those colors just pop like mad. I think that would. I think it would just look a lot nicer, and not this just generic Nintendo thing that they do sometimes, where it's just very plain and there's no life to it. I don't know. Maybe I'm going on about this a little bit too much, but I'm very passionate about Story of Seasons / Harvest Moon, Rune Factory, all that kind of stuff, and I'm very excited for this game still. I just wish that it looked a little bit different. Next up was another game that I was kind of looking forward to a little bit. Is called Surviving the Aftermath, which is coming out in spring 2021. This looks like an RTS building your base kind of game. Probably honestly better on PC. I don't even know what else is supposed to come out on, but I know that's coming out for the Switch, and this is the first time I've ever heard of it. I think that obviously it would probably work better on a PC if it's available on that. But if not, and even if it is, I think I might try this on the Switch. There's something about it that I was just like, yeah, that kind of looks like it could be fun. And as long as it's like not crazy amounts of micromanaging where you have to be like moving constantly very fast, I think I could enjoy this on the Switch. Maybe. It struck my interest anyway. Next up is Immortal Phoenix Rising, which is coming out on December 3rd of this year, 2020. And I've been kind of off and on with this game because I don't really feel if I dig the art style that they're going for. The other thing too is that the trailer that they showed for this, and this might just be because it's for the Switch, it doesn't look like a very good looking game. Like it kind of looked like it was, I don't know, there was something that was just holding it back. And I expected maybe a little bit more, that it would look a little bit more pleasing to the eyes. In the sense of almost HD, like it's weird. There was something off about it. It just did not seem like a 2020 game, but it still looks kind of fun. They have like the system where you can either use the sword for really fast attacks, the axe for like slower but more damage, and then the bow and arrow to kind of shoot from far away. And you kind of shoot by the looks of it, you can actually then take control of the arrow and make it go and hit the target that you want. So I like that, and obviously like Greek mythology, that's always super interesting to me. There's armor upgrades and all that kind of stuff. There's puzzles that looked really fun. So it kind of reminds me definitely of The Legend of Zelda, which is always a good thing. And it looks fun. I think I am going to pick it up. I just don't know what system I want it for yet. That's the thing. I am really starting to move towards the Switch as opposed to Xbox and PlayStation lately, because I just feels like having that option of being able to play on either or, and like in terms of handheld and big screen, is just such a big positive for me. Plus I just love the Switch to death. So it's possible I get it for the Switch, but it not looking the greatest kind of made me feel like, is that the Switch's fault or is that the game's fault? And it still looked good. I'm complaining probably too much here. I don't know. I've been gone for 2 weeks. I got to talk about something. Next up, they showed Hitman 3. It's coming to the Switch. That's cool. I'm probably not going to pick it up for the Switch, though. That game just, no. Because I know how good those games can look, so I would want it on a stronger console. Then they showed No More Heroes 3, which I think is spring 2021. I can't remember if they had an actual date for that. That looks kind of fun. I've never played the first or second, but what's nice is that they're actually putting them out on the Switch, and as of right now, you can pick them up. And I think they were like, I don't know, $20 or something like that. So not a bad price for them. I think that I would probably pick the first one up, see if it's my cup of tea, and go from there to see if I want to continue on with the series. But I've definitely heard good things about the series. I just haven't played them myself. And then they showed finally Hyrule Warriors what is it called? Age of Calamity? Something like that. I can't remember what it's actually called. But this comes out November 20th. I'm super stoked for this. They showed more, and I don't really don't want to see any more now because I'm already sold on the game. Like as soon as they announced it, I was like, I'm sold. But oh man, does this look amazing? I cannot wait for this. This is what I think Hyrule Warriors should be. I mean, I really loved and enjoyed the first one, but this just makes me like, oh, there's an actual storyline that's going to be canon for Breath of the Wild. Like, this is so awesome. I'm really hoping that they really delve into the story of this, really flesh out a good story for Zelda, because we haven't had anything that really goes in depth. And I'm hoping that we do this with this one, and then with Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, they continue on and they use stuff that is part of Age of Calamity. So 100 years ago, we're going to have a ton of information there that kind of plays into Breath of the Wild 2. I think that would be like showing a villain or something that, a certain item or a legend or a myth or something like that, or something that they hint at in this game, and then actually is a major role in Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. I would love that, and having specific things maybe about the Guardian. It's been so long. Is it the Guardians? The Four Guardians? Is that what they're called? It's been so long since I played. But yeah, I think if we really delved into them, and maybe there's like some kind of secret. I don't know. I'm wishing for these magnificent things right now, and I'm just so excited. I can't wait for this. And the other thing too is that they do have a demo for Hyrule Warriors. If you've never played anything like Dynasty Warriors or the Hyrule Warriors that they had on the Wii U and the Switch from before this, you don't have to play it at all. You can just jump into this because the other one wasn't canon at all. It was just like Hyrule Warriors, a Warriors game. So a bunch of people on the field and you go around killing them with a Zelda coat on it. The story itself you don't really need to know at all about, but this one does tie into Zelda Breath of the Wild. So if you've played Zelda Breath of the Wild, and this kind of seems interesting, try out the demo to see if this is a kind of game that you would like, because I think it's going to be really fun for the story, but also the game itself. I do enjoy the hack and slash of having 100 enemies on the screen and just going around and killing them. So you can definitely try that out. I don't think I'm going to play the demo because I just want to get the game and play it at that point in time. But it's possible that I get it as well. So anyway, that's it. That's everything that they showed that I was interested in. There, once again, there was a few other indie games, I believe, that I didn't really strike my fancy. But for what we did see, definitely looking forward to Bravely Default 2, Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town. Definitely looking forward to that, more so for the gameplay itself than the actual aesthetic of how everything looks in that game. Immortal Phoenix Rising, I'm surprisingly looking forward to more now at this point in time. And Hyrule Warriors, obviously, definitely looking forward to that game. So let me know in the comments below what you thought of this Nintendo Direct mini partnership. My God, it's such a long thing. And if you're kind of excited for some of these games that are coming out. So thank you all for watching. You have been Bearded In. Beardage.